Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3875. Today's date is February 8, 2026. It's been almost like night at 10:33 p.m. All right, I just had a dinner, okay. Heavy dinner. Okay, so let's just jump into the question. All right, yeah. Now, question is, am I creating a content for a global audience or local or both? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is YouTube realization question. I asked this question to myself so that I would understand more about as a content creator, as a platform, YouTuber, social media platform, and as well as my content creation. Okay, yeah. Asking this question to myself, I would realize that am I worthy enough, or am I consider myself that I am a YouTuber or content creator or not? Because I think that being a content creator, or if you want to be a content creator, is became so easy. Okay, but it's not that easy, at least not for me. So I need to understand all those things. Okay, yeah. So that's why I'm actually asking this question to myself, to know more about myself and things and that and that. All right, yeah. Now the question is, am I creating content for a global audience or local and things like that? Okay, so what exactly is this thing? Your content is meant to be something, meant to be people, meant for the people. Okay, yeah. Example, you make a kind of like somebody create a video about vlog. In a vlog, you kind of like talk about things happen today. You record everything, nice, good, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. Is it content creation? Is it? Yeah, people engage with it. It depends on how you cater that video, how you make that video. What is actually like basically is this thing. Vlogging means like that. It depends on who is actually kind of like a thinking that what is actually vlogging. Okay, yeah. If you think vlogging means like that, a person who just kind of like hold the mobile phone in front of him and kind of like a talk about stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff, that is also called vlogging. A person who kind of like using a vlogging in a such a way as a filmmaking point of perspective, cinematic vlogging too, but kind of like a cinematic, quick movement, transition, sound effects. Okay, yeah. So there are so many ways to kind of like somebody execute vlogging. Okay, yeah. Also is this thing, it also depend upon what is actually your audience. Okay, I'm gonna kind of like give you a couple of vloggers probably. In India, we have a kind of like a vlogger named Saurabh Joshi, very popular vlogger by the way, who hold the camera and he talk about what is actually happen and things and that and that. Now in his vlogging technique, I didn't really found any kind of like a cinematic, or I didn't really found any kind of like a somebody that ki professionalism. Like it just kind of like a things. It feels like that ki just a guy who kind of like simply record the things what is actually happened. People do connect with that thing too. People do connect. Vlogging doesn't mean to be kind of it doesn't mean that ki your video should always be a kind of like a cinematic point of perspective. If you're vlogging, people connect with that, that is okay. There is also another vlogger that I wanted to mention, David Dobrik. His vlogging style is a very different. He didn't really do any kind of like a cinematic or things and that, but he do crazy shit, like a legit crazy. He just kind of like a jump out the car or do something like I don't know how, like this is kind of like a very crazy. Also his vlog is just 4 minutes. Okay, yeah, and very engaging. Okay, his vlog really great, like I love it. Okay, yeah, it's not cinematic, but it's a really good. There is also another vlog, or probably I think that I want to say is this thing that he Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon is a kind of like somebody you record a video as a talking head video too, as a sometime vlog video too, and his vlog video is like really cinematic. Like he used such a transition, such a quick movement. He hide a camera in such a way that just kind of like mesmerize. Like the way that he used technicality, sound effects, editing, camera placement, boy, feels like that good. Okay, yeah. So who is better? That is completely wrong. In YouTube, there is no better, there is no right, there is no good. Every piece of content are meant for particular piece of people. Okay, like basically is this thing. If I'm gonna say that ki Peter McKinnon vlogging video is very legit cinematography, filmmaking, context and things like that, does Indian people like those video? They might, some people, most of people not. Why? Because people does not connect. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing. The people actually connect with the people that they know, right? How do I know Peter McKinnon? Obviously I didn't know any Peter McKinnon, but it's just like that na ki I like little bit of professionalism, a kind of like some standard or things like that, and I watch Peter McKinnon video and like really good, really great. Okay, yeah. Most of the people are not in that particular thing. Most of people are kind of like a watch vlogging video. They just want to just connect with the character or connect with the person who is kind of like a talking and things and that and that. So in the YouTube, there is no right thing. There is no wrong thing. Every piece of content is meant for particular piece of people. Okay, yeah. And it always be. Sorry. Okay, it always be, because it is kind of like a somebody far more essential. Okay, yeah, because it build community. Okay, yeah, and that community kind of like a determine that key, like who are they, what exactly they think, and that and that and that. Okay, now another point of trying to tell you is this thing that key your content is, as I mentioned, your community is a kind of like a depend on a place where it should supposed to be. Now if you decided that ki you wanted to expand that community or build bigger community, then what should you supposed to do? We are living in such a world where we have so many languages, so many barriers. YouTube is a kind of like a platform which actually exists all around the world. Like if I kind of like a search anything from any kind of like a creator from any part of the world, I would search it, I would watch it, that video. YouTube kind of like a make that possible. Not even Netflix or any kind of like a somebody things that could possible, but social media is a kind of like a things that key available everywhere, which is really good, really great. Okay, yeah. So if kind of like a something a creator wants to expand his content to the more and more people, how he should supposed to be do that? Kind of like a changing the language, like basically add multiple language. YouTube has a new feature, by the way, that key you can add multiple languages. You can dub the kind of like your video in the particular language that you want, and it will be available over there. Like basically Mr. Beast kind of like a dub his video in Hindi channel, and he cater those Hindi videos, and it working really well. Okay, yeah. So the language is also kind of like a things that kind of like a bit more. If you kind of like add dub thing, or maybe if you add a kind of like assembly dubbing your channel, then it might gonna work out. Your video will be kind of like available in multiple languages, and multiple and various different kind of like a people will gonna watch. Okay, which is really good, really great. Okay, then why does not everyone do that thing? Well, first of all is that ki sorry. Okay, why does not everyone does that thing? As I mentioned, is this thing that ki this is a kind of like a thing like a using multiple language or creating dub videos and things and that it actually possible when your content have that kind of like a quality that key different ethnicity of the people can be able to be watched. Okay, and how is that could possible? By adding particular value. Okay, we are living in such a world in today's world that key we are kind of like accepting multiple ethnicity of the people. Like some people are actually watching Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies, okay, yeah, Japanese movies, South Korean movies, okay, yeah, European, African movies too, okay, yeah, these are kind of Russian movies, Chinese movies, okay. So basically, is this thing we all are kind of like a people who are kind of like a comes from different ethnicity, different religious, different visual perspective and things and that and people are kind of like a try to accept their culture by consuming their content. Okay, yeah, which is really good. But the question is that ki why do you say this thing that ki you have to be dub your video in multiple language? It only possible when you are achieve something much more height, like Mr. Beast and things like that. Like basically, if you achieve that level of height of Mr. Beast, then adding this multiple language would be add value. Yeah, definitely, but probably is this thing now? I don't know. I might think that adding a dubbing values like a add a dub audios and things will definitely add value. It definitely like a basically your content will kind of like a reach to the different people. They will consume your content, which is really good. But some piece of content are not meant for worldwide. Why? Okay, yeah. Because it create chaos. Okay, what is that? Okay, if I make a video about science or space or astronomy or like a history, okay, yeah, this might be a very much common to the rest of the body, like everybody and things and that. No, history now, no, history not. Okay, yeah, science, space, machine, or any kind of like some stuff. It is kind of like a assembly accessible in entire world. Okay, yeah, and there is no create chaos happen. Okay, yeah. But what if I make a video regarding about that ki a Pakistan kind of like assembly started doing attack in Pahalgam, 29 people die, okay, and things and that. Now this is a kind of like some video. I make this video for my Indian perspective, for Indian people. I kind of like tell them that ki this is attack is actually happened by the Pakistan. Our terrorists actually came, things and that. I give the evidence which is true. Okay, right. This is a kind of like a something video might be kind of like a something create chaos in different part of the world. Okay, yeah, because you are kind of like telling the perspective from Indian context perspective. Okay, yeah. Pakistan context point of perspective might be different. Okay, they might think that this might be completely wrong, things and that because if someone blame anyone, that any one person try to reject that blame, and that is true. It actually happened with a human point of perspective. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing that ki if one particular video is kind of like a record in one language and try to blame another countries of the people and dub that kind of like a video in their language and promote that video to their country, it create chaos. Okay, it create chaos, it create lot of not good stuff. That's why most of the kind of like assembly in YouTube, the religious like the regional language is kind of like a limited over there. Like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. Okay, yeah. uh, if you are in American, okay, like specifically this example is kind of like associate as American can able to be kind of like experience this thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. uh yeah, in a YouTube platform, anyone can upload your video, anyone can upload their video, where they are from, Europe, Russia, any corner of the world. Okay, yeah. Now I am belong to the India. Okay, yeah. I seen the Indian content. I didn't really seen American content. I might gonna see a couple of American content, probably Mr. Beast or things like that, because I watched them. But I didn't really see South Korean content. I didn't really see the kind of like Australian or European or African content. Why is not? Why am I not seeing that thing? It's not really that ki YouTube is hiding it. No, if I could search any kind of like African creator, I might gonna found. I might gonna watch his video probably. But YouTube is not kind of like let you show another kind of like somebody creator on your homepage. It kind of like a showcase a content belongs to your country. They will not try to show you things and that. If you have interest, you can search, you can access the piece of content from that particular country of that creator and things and that. And yeah, if YouTube realize that okay, you are a fan of that particular creator, then probably yeah, they will kind of like recommend things. But YouTube is kind of like a try to make sure that a cluster of viewers should supposed to be remain in cluster. Should supposed to be remain in cluster, which is good. Okay, which is good. Why is that? Because it kind of like simply is this thing, a kind of like simply create a bubble, like a imagine a kind of like simply let's create a bubble. Okay, yeah, Indian bubble, European bubble, African bubble, multiple country have their own bubble. Okay, yeah. And any random person who open the YouTube, he kind of like see the content in his surrounding bubble. Okay, he will not kind of like see the video from different kind of like a bubbles, different things and that. No, it's not. YouTube kind of like a prevent and things like that, which is really good for protecting their privacy. Protecting the harmful, like a basically this thing na ki YouTube have a kind of like a things that ki have a particular guideline regarding about what kind of like a video should you supposed to be upload and what kind of like a video you cannot able to upload. Like sexual content you cannot able to be upload. Some people does that thing, YouTube ban that thing. Okay, yeah. Another thing, okay, yeah, YouTube is also kind of like a try not to recommend a kind of like a propaganda video. Okay, yeah, like basically this thing, if you are kind of like somebody telling a propaganda regarding about things and that, like this country this does and this does and this does, YouTube is also not letting to recommend that video to more and more. Your video will be publicly available, but YouTube will not gonna recommend that video to the more and more people, because you are kind of like a portray hatred and things like that. But still, YouTube is an algorithm. Still, it does not understand that much propaganda. As a human, understand what is actually propaganda and things, what is actually hate speeches and things and that. A machine or algorithm does not understand that much. Okay, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. It is really essential to, as a kind of like a global company, as a YouTube, should supposed to be create that bubble and should supposed to be maintain that bubble. They are kind of like somebody, they are protecting values and kind of like a protecting other and themselves. Okay, yeah. And another thing, YouTube is not made for kind of like somebody, the kind of like somebody that keep spreading propaganda or kind of like things and that. Definitely not. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing na ki if you wanted to be kind of like somebody try to attract the global audience, it's not possible that much. Is it possible? It's not really that is it possible? It's possible, but it kind of like a thing is that na ki YouTube try not to do this thing. Okay, like what exactly happened? Okay, yeah. Let's just say that ki now Mr. Beast is a kind of like a simply global creator. Okay, yeah. He is a most subscriber person on the planet. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing, obviously he is actually can enter to the multiple bubbles. Okay, he can enter to the Indian bubble, Probably China doesn't really have any bubble. Okay, yeah, because they block, they don't really have any YouTube. But yeah, like basically it's just saying that Mr. Beast is kind of like a entered multiple bubbles because he has that power, he has that kind of like assembly edge or things and that. Also is this thing, he wanted to make sure that he, whatever the content that he make, he shouldn't supposed to be hurt any kind of like a piece of bubble or any kind of like assembly people in that bubble. So he wanted to make sure that his video should supposed to be family oriented or kind of like a fun and engaging and things and that, without hurting any kind of like a sentiment of the people and things like that. Okay, yeah. So that's why you could achieve that global audience. So this is what you should supposed to be do. Try to make sure that your piece of content doesn't really hurt different ethnicity of people or different group of bubble. Okay, yeah. If it hurt, then it's not good, even if you dub the language. Okay, yeah. Another thing, okay, yeah, your content should supposed to be matter to value as a human. Okay, not as a kind of like somebody regional person or a person who is from different like a from it's very hard to explain this thing. I don't know, but what I realized that na ki probably is this thing that ki that ki I don't know, is it a bit controversial and things and that. I think that ki every creator should supposed to be remain in their own bubble. And why is that? Yeah, why is that? Because am I right or wrong? I don't know. Probably I'm kind of like a just probably I'm kind of like a saying something very wrong here. Yeah. Like yeah, I'm kind of like a saying, I don't know, yaar. Why am I saying something like that? It's very wrong. No. Yeah. What should you supposed to do to people who kind of like entered into the global audience and things and that and that? Just make a kind of like such a piece of content that does not hurt any other ethnicity of the people. Another thing is that ki it should supposed to be add something value. Okay, yeah. Mostly entertainment, because entertainment is the only kind of like a value that entered in multiple bubbles. Okay, yeah. Educational values also entered. Inspirational might not. Why? Because inspirational somewhere kind of like associate with their patriotism and things and that. Okay, yeah. So which is kind of like somewhat something not entered into the different kind of bubble. Probably, I'm not really sure about that. It's a very complex topic regarding about that. Okay, yeah. But YouTube are kind of like a try to prevent that thing. Okay, yeah. YouTube also doesn't want that key different type of creator should supposed to be entered in different countries market and things like that and that, because it's not good. Okay, yeah. That's why I didn't really see in the South Korean content. I don't really see the Japanese content. I didn't really see a kind of like assembly the African content or any European content or things like that. It's not really that YouTube is blocking me. No, I can access, I can search, I can access their channel and things like that. But still, it's protecting from that harmful opinion and things and that. Okay, yeah. Like basically it's this thing that ki in India doesn't really have that much civic sense. Okay, that is true. We accept that thing. Okay, yeah. And but how much Indian people get hate from this thing, we don't know that. Like we know that ki foreigner people might gonna say that Indian people doesn't really have that any civic sense and things and that. We know, but how much they hate, how much a kind of like European people or American people hate Indians, things and that. And if you see such piece of content, then you might gonna hurt because you are patriotism. Okay, yeah. Even if your country is not really good, but still that another piece of person who kind of like simply try to tell my country is not good and things and that. It creates kind of like a wrong feeling. It creates kind of like simply hate. and that's YouTube kind of like a try to prevent that hate. That's why these bubbles shouldn't supposed to be entered, things like that. Probably it's just my opinion. I'm not really sure is it true, right, or things like that and that, but yeah, okay. But what I realized that na ki problem is always be there. Okay, yeah. Like not every country is a perfect country. Okay, yeah. I also accept this thing that ki my country is definitely people are not civic sense. People are don't really civilized. That is true. Yeah. We are try to improve, but still it feel hurt. Okay, yeah. I'm belong to India. It felt hurt too. Okay, yeah. Whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of like a talk about something that just like whatever. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the advice for myself. Okay, yeah. So the if I create a content that I wanted to attract the global audience, what should I supposed to do? First of all, the language. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that make such a piece of content that matter to their country of the people and things and that probably. But for me, I think I would be more focused about my country of the people. Okay, yeah. I wanted to cater my content to my country of the people first. Okay, yeah. If my content get cater to the other country by if the YouTube kind of like recommend this and that, then yeah, that is okay, because in my content there is no kind of like some harmful thing that I'm saying. Okay, yeah, there is no propaganda and things and that. But still, is this saying that ki I don't know. Okay, yeah, I wanted to be stick into the bubble. I don't want to be entered in different kind of like a bubbles. Probably, I think, because I am patriotic, and patriotic means like that na ki I love my country. I know my country is not perfect. There is a millions of problem are actually exist, but I can't like a when someone kind of like somebody when someone kind of like somebody says something that ki your country is shit and this and that, if a Indian person kind of like say this thing, bhai, hamari country like our country is kind of like a really fuck and things, I'm gonna say yeah, okay. But if the foreigner person kind of like say this thing, your country is really fuck, then in this particular in this particular things, my mental things will disturb, because I am getting pride for my country. Okay, yeah. I know that, like, basically, is this thing na ki when you are consider yourself that ki I am proud for my country, then probably you might not kind of like somebody that ki try to accept that ki your country is kind of like a fucked. And if that something statement come from the foreign people, then it hurt very much badly. Okay, yeah, and which kind of like a create chaos. So so yeah, okay. So so I think that na ki the YouTube is a kind of like actually try to maintain that bubble, and yes, I want to kind of like create the content that stick into the bubble. I don't want to enter my content in any different kind of like a bubble. If it entered in different kind of like a bubble, then I would make sure that ki my piece of content does not add any kind of like assembly validate their culture, their ethnicity, no. And I will try to make sure that ki I do my piece of content, but still I don't know, yeah, dude. Like, it's very hard to explain this thing, right? Yeah. Whatever. Is it? It should supposed to be end here. Thank you.